Although it appears to me that some of the Force Unleashed games appear to have fallen out of favor with Star Wars fans, I'm still highly nostalgic for them and a lot of the lore that they did, especially filling in that time period just before the events of A New Hope, detailing specifically Darth Vader and his plan to overthrow Darth Sidious through this inherently massively powerful character. That character of course being Galen Merrick, Starkiller. I grew up with the Force Unleashed games, specifically playing a lot the Force Unleashed 2, and within the Force Unleashed 2 there are small nuggets of Star Wars lore that I find absolutely fascinating about the character of Starkiller and Galen Merrick overall, especially after the original Galen Merrick's death at the end of the first game. So today, I want to break down and explore a facet of lore in the Force Unleashed 2, and a failed Starkiller Galen Merrick clone that Darth Vader attempted to develop, a clone known as the Maulkiller. So without further ado, students of the Force, if you too are a fan of Galen Merrick and the Force Unleashed 2, sit back as we open up this brand new holocron. It was always Darth Vader's original intention to use Galen Merrick to overthrow Darth Sidious, and had Darth Sidious not become aware of Galen Merrick and his innate incredible ability to use the dark side of the Force in such a destructive manner, Darth Vader likely would have triumphed over his master, making Galen Starkiller an official Sith apprentice. However, in the end this would not come to pass, as not only did Darth Sidious discover Galen, but he was also swayed toward the ways of the light side of the Force. However, a generational skill such as Galen Merrick could not be overlooked by Darth Vader. Darth Vader was convinced that Galen Merrick would finally be his key to overthrowing his master, as Vader knew, as powerful as he was, he would never be able to mount something powerful enough to overthrow Sidious. So, even after Galen Merrick's death, Darth Vader resolved to clone him and use this incredible Force potential to destroy Sidious. However, Darth Vader believed for a period of time that Galen Merrick could be improved upon. Darth Vader, although he had never directly met him, had sensed Darth Maul before, Darth Maul being the original apprentice to Darth Sidious directly. Darth Maul was a fearsome Sith assassin, but beyond anything else, he was loyal to Sidious. This is something that Darth Vader highly desired and wanted to bend into his new clone. Along with this, he knew that Darth Maul's Zabrak species, or Night Brother species, had a specific alignment to the dark side of the Force, with this being the reason that many of Maul's species are born with the glowing yellow Sith eyes. Darth Maul believed that if he could clone Darth Maul as well as Starkiller into a singular being, then he would be more inclined to strictly adhere to the dark side, and he would not come across the same pitfalls of Galen Merrick, and Galen Merrick choosing to embrace the light side of the Force and the Jedi. To Vader at the time, he believed nothing could go wrong. Thinking back to the clone troopers that Vader had fought beside, his mind drifted off to Kamino, and he ventured there nearly immediately, with strict orders that the Emperor never discover this, with the plan to clone Galen Merrick. Unfortunately for Vader though, many of the clones of Galen Merrick that they originally produced were an utter disaster and resulted in monstrosities. From the Force Unleashed 2 databank, it says this, quote, "Aberrant clones, leading cloning technicians log, Tamira City cloning facility. Another complete failure. While the subject's base genetic code remains intact, the physical expressions have been unsettling. The contents of the last tank were drained amid a piercing howl despite a total lack of any visible mouth. If only we could look closer at the original genetic subject. Many of these clones were born with disabilities and with intense pain. Beyond this, Darth Vader then faced another problem with the clones as they began attacking and attempting to kill any subject that came close to them. What made things worse is they did actually possess some ability to touch the Force. However, their physical bodies were extremely fragile. Eventually, there were clones that were born that Darth Vader deemed acceptable, or at least that he would attempt to train. However, he did not have sufficient time, and it had taken the original Galen Merrick over a decade to hone his skill. Because of this, Darth Vader utilized what is known as memory flashes of training sessions from the original Galen Merrick's life. However, this also had the terrible effect of turning many of these already unstable clones insane. The most difficult thing that Darth Vader faced with this is many of the clones were gifted memories from Starkiller Galen Merrick's original past, including his pulls to the light side of the Force. And this is why he ultimately turned to the DNA of Darth Maul. He full well knew that Darth Maul was a savage and a brute, but a loyal one with deep-seated ties to the dark side. two things that Darth Vader needed within his next Starkiller clone. And it was because of this that he gave the Kaminoan cloners the go-ahead to merge the DNA of Maul and Starkiller into one, deeming it the Maulkiller project. To Darth Vader's utter shock, at least physically, it resulted in a near-perfect specimen. Maulkiller was born, but there was something strange about him, something terrible. His psyche was there, but it had been an imperfect merge of both Maul and Galen Merrick. Instead of inheriting all of the greatest traits of Maul and Galen, he inherited the worst. He was in fact a savage, fueled directly by the dark side of the Force, with the innate incredible physical abilities of Darth Maul, and the incredible potential of Galen Merrick. On the surface, he was a perfect apprentice. Below the surface, though, was a raging storm, untamable, savage, lacking all of the greater mysteries of the Force. Darth Vader had succeeded in creating a beast, but not a beast that he could use. Darth Vader noted, though, that with time, he believed that he could break Maulkiller. He was unwilling to let this subject go, as he was faster, stronger, and had a greater connection to the dark side than many of the clones, with Darth Vader speculating that he could grow to be more powerful than even the original Galen. In the end, though, Darth Vader's fears came true, as by all accounts, Maulkiller was completely insane. His mind turned to mush by the raging force that was the dark side within him. It was here that Vader finally ordered his execution, sending a legion of clone troopers to do the job. However, even though Maulkiller was subdued and chained down, all of the stormtroopers died at his hand. Darth Vader looked on personally as Maulkiller savaged the entire group, using his bare hands and sheer command over the dark side. However, it was also at this moment that Vader realized all hope was lost. Maulkiller would attack anything, anyone, even Lord Vader himself, and was simply too far gone. In the end, Darth Vader entered the chambers of Maulkiller personally and executed the clone, making sure that Maulkiller was completely unarmed in the process. Following this, Darth Vader would revert back to the normal cloning of Galen Merrick, which would eventually show promising results. However, deep down, he had always desired Maulkiller to be a success. However, he realized that this was something that was impossible. But anyway, my friends, what are your thoughts on today's holocron and the story of Maulkiller from The Force Unleashed 2? What do you think would have happened if Darth Vader had managed to tame Maulkiller? Could the combined might of Maulkiller and Lord Vader be enough to overthrow Darth Sidious? And what do you think would have been the ramifications of such a beast? As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching the channel. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.